Welcome to We Are Venomaniacs, the Venom Site's official podcast for all of your symbiote news, reviews, and point of views. My name is Orion, and I'm joined by hosts Carlos, Tyler, and Aaron. Say hi, guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey.
We're taking a short break from our usual comic review format for this episode, because just recently a lot of juicy comic news came pouring out from Marvel. So today we'll be focusing on Marvel's next big event starting in August, Absolute Carnage. We will review the recently announced lineup of comics and tie-ins, what you need to know before it arrives, and maybe a bit of the good old speculation among my co-hosts. So first up, we'll have Tyler tell us about what Absolute Carnage is about and what the event lineup is.
Alright. So, what is Absolute Carnage, you may be asking? It's the first true big Marvel crossover event involving our favorite alien symbiote, starring the groundbreaking return of Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. It's helmed by Venom comic creators Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, the current creative team of Venom. And Absolute Carnage consists of the 4-issue main event book, the Venom series, various tie-ins from other Marvel series, and a whole bunch of limited comic runs, sporting the Absolute Carnage title, which will focus on different symbiotes. You can check out the truly massive reading list, which we have displayed on our YouTube broadcast for this episode to get a feel for the scale of this event. Here's a quick summary of the event story, which has been culminating in Donny and Ryan's Venom series and further into every symbiote's comics book history. Null, the elder void god of the symbiotes, imprisoned within the symbiote homeworld, Clintar, has awoken. His telepathic influence had reached Earth with a previous attempt to summon an ancient symbiote dragon, Grendel, which tried to take Venom back to Clintar with little success. Now Null has directed his will towards Cletus Cassidy, who had returned to Earth from his orbit following the events of Venomized. An insidious cult of Null bonded Cletus to the remains of the Grendel symbiote, killing off the remnants of the Carnage symbiote within him to form a new Null-corrupted Carnage. Now Carnage is tasked with reclaiming the codices symbiote DNA from everyone who has ever bonded to a symbiote on Earth, so he can reconstitute the Grendel symbiote and fly off to Clintar to set Null free. Of course, Carnage doesn't do things half-assed as he goes on a killing spree to collect the symbiote codices. Now everyone is a target in Absolute Carnage, including the Avengers, the X-Men, pretty much every Marvel hero and villain. Absolute Carnage begins on August 7th with the first issue, which itself is more than doubled in page length and price.
Excellent. And so the next part we'll have Carlos talk about how we can gear up to prepare for Absolute Carnage. So Carlos, go ahead and take it.
So, we're gearing up for this event, and Donny has stated numerous times in interviews on social media that Absolute Carnage is an event 30 years in the making. It encompasses just about every symbiote in every Marvel comic. That may be pretty daunting homework to some and of our listeners, so we will help you out by summarizing what you need to know and what you should read to prepare for August. Absolute Carnage is basically Chapter 2, or the second act in Donny's Null saga, which started with the very first issue of his and Ryan's main Venom series back in 2018. The core reading essentials for Absolute Carnage are the Venom series by Donny and Ryan, the five Web of Venom one-shot issues that were published in tandem with the series. The fifth Web of Venom book, Funeral Pyre, will be available on July 24th. You can read the Absolute Carnage post-credit stories that will be printed in the list of comics to be published in June and July that you can find on our YouTube broadcast. Note that Venom issues 13, 14, and 15, which are written by Colin Bunn and illustrated by Evan Coelho, are tie-ins for the War of the Realms event. You can probably skip Venom's involvement in War of the Realms, but these 3 issues provide some character progression for Eddie that may be important for setting up Absolute Carnage. If you're brand new to Venom and Carnage or symbiotes in general, get a hold of a couple of introductory trade collections like Spider-Man Birth of Venom and Carnage Classic. If you prefer digital comics, we suggest subscribing to Marvel Unlimited, which gives you access to Marvel's entire digital comic library up to issues published 6 months ago. If you are interested in learning about the other symbiotes, that will make an appearance in Absolute Carnage, such as Mania, Scream, the Life Foundation symbiotes, and so on. You can take a look at the list of the introductory comics on our YouTube broadcast. You can also read up on them on the Marvel Database Wikipedia, which will be linked in the YouTube video description. The Marvel Database Wikipedia is also a great place to find summaries about these characters, so check it out.
Excellent. So, there's a lot to cover with Absolute Carnage. It is a massive event, as you'll probably see by taking a look at just the reading list. This event goes from August to October, but there's plenty of reading to do before August as well. So does anyone have any specific recommendations for our readers to prepare for Absolute Carnage?
I would just read the new series by Cates. Like, if you read that, I think you'll be good as gold. There's going to be some things like Scream and separation anxiety, but I don't think you're going to need a whole lot of background information because we're going to see new iterations of those characters. So I would just read the new series by Donny Cates and just make sure you read all of the Web of Venom issues as well.
Yeah, definitely. So Cates is the mastermind behind Absolute Carnage and Null's whole saga. So pretty much reading anything by Donny Cates, symbiote-wise, will work. And maybe even Guardians of the Galaxy, considering that one of the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's
Wraith.
an Exelon or something. Wraith, exactly. Wraith is somehow tied to Null. So might want to also check out Donny Cates' Guardians of the Galaxy as well.
And I'll say it's not really connected to Absolute Carnage. Like, all you really need to get ready for Absolute Carnage is just the main Venom series and Web of Venom, because especially the Web of Venom issues are all directly leading up to it, and except for maybe Venom, the first one, but all the others are definitely like heavily involved with how Carnage is especially coming back. Like the Carnage Born is probably the most important one, I would say, which sets everything up. And this isn't really required reading that, but I would personally recommend just reading the Zeb Wells miniseries for Family Feud and then Carnage USA, because those directly tie into some of the Web of Venom issues. So that'd just be my personal recommendations.
Yeah, also too, because like when we read Cult of Carnage, like they even gave like homages to those, like the town he attacked. I believe it was in Carnage USA.
Yeah.
So that has a little bit of a connection to the story. But
another connection I would say because of the Cult of Carnage is that they brought back John Jameson, whose connection to Carnage. He's been connected to Carnage for years and years, but most recently, and probably most importantly, was in Jerry Conway's Carnage series, which involved Eddie Brock as Toxin and involved a new symbiote called Raze. So we might see Raze again, maybe, or Toxin.
As pointed out, because I'm pretty sure most of everyone has seen the solicitations for the new comic covers. I'm actually really looking forward to Venom number 17. I'm pretty sure we will probably see, hopefully, Raze and Scorn. Oh, not Scorn. Toxin. And then possibly Sleeper.
Yeah, and definitely to follow up with Sleeper, another series you should probably read up on is the miniseries of Venom First Host, which is where Sleeper was first debuted. And we're probably going to see Sleeper again to some extent in Absolute Carnage, so definitely read up on that. It's a lot of reading. So, let's talk about what we can expect from Absolute Carnage and what we'd like to see. So, I'm expecting, right now where Venom and Eddie stand, they're separated and not really in a great place with each other. Venom has done a lot of really bad stuff to Eddie in the past, and Eddie's trying to get over his own issues. So, I expect they're going to most likely, most definitely, get back together for Absolute Carnage to take on this new threat. And I think, Carlos had mentioned, pay attention perhaps to the 3 War of the Realm tie-in issues in the main Venom series, because there is a bit of character progression for Eddie Brock in terms of his approach to his relationship with Venom. He's realizing that Venom is not all to blame for everything that's wrong with Venom, that he himself is bringing some of the baggage into the relationship.
Yeah, in War of the Realms, because now Eddie's not bonded with Venom, and Eddie has gotten in possession this magic crystal from Malekith's witches, and he's pretty much taken the form of a new mystical type Venom suit, which feeds off his anger, and it just culminates all the things Eddie has gone through in his life, and he's pretty much feeding off those emotions.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of self-reflection for Eddie in War of the Realms, which will most likely play a part. I'm hoping it plays a part, because I know it's Cullen writing it instead of Donnie, but I think they work close enough together that whatever Cullen's writing will carry over into Donnie's writing.
Personally, it's kind of some of my favorite stuff Cullen Bunn's done with Eddie so far. Like I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
It's very surprising. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us agree that Cullen, his original Toxin run with Eddie Brock back in Agent Venom, that was pretty good stuff. Even though some of it was like, it's character regression on Eddie's part. He's kind of lost his way after Anti-Venom, but this time I think Cullen Bunn's really pulling him around for Eddie Brock. It's much better than before, I think.
Well, I will say that for Cullen, he is doing a really good job in this 3-part story arc for the World of the Realms tie-in. And again, I'll say that I said this once and I'll say it again, but I just absolutely love Eben's art. Him and Cullen go hand in hand whenever they do Venom. And I'm really, really looking forward to what Eben's going to be doing for Venom's tie-ins for Absolute Carnage coming this August. So I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, switching off with Eben and Stegman is just so good.
Yeah. And Aaron, do you have anything you want to add?
There's a lot of things I could say. I think it'd be best if we switched gears and we just sort of went down the list of all the tie-ins that are going to be happening, because there's a lot of like things we could say about these. So I was looking at the checklist, so starting in August we have Absolute 1 and 2, but then after that is a series, I think it's called a Lethal Protectors, and so in that one it looks like we're going to have a lot of key players that were back in the
Maximum Carnage.
The original Maximum Carnage, right? Yeah. Right. You got Iron Fist, you got Cloak and Dagger, you got Morbius, and so that 2-parter looks like it says that they are fighting in Ravencroft and they're trying to stop Carnage from resurrecting a Spider-Man villain that's buried underneath there.
Actually, it's a 3-parter.
It's a 3-parter, right? Yeah. So yeah. So, I mean, we're not that big on Spider-Man lore because we're all Venom fans, right? But I don't know who could be
speak for yourself there, buddy.
Right, of course, right. But I don't know who could be buried under Ravencroft that they're trying to resurrect. I mean, the first thing
I don't think it means like an actual resurrection. I'm pretty sure it's got to be Norman. I can't see it being
Norman. Yeah.
No, wait, Norman Osborn?
Because there was the yeah. Since let's see, I think I guess it was 1 year ago from a few days ago. The Red Goblin arc ended, and then Norman now thinks he's Carnage, and then
Flash.
Right, yeah. then in the free comic book issue a few weeks ago, Carnage says that he's a thief, so he kind of has some resentment or some evil thoughts directed at Norman.
And
So.
doesn't Harry's son still have the piece of the Carnage symbiote in him as well?
Normie still has that little bit of the Carnage symbiote. Yeah, we haven't seen anything with that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So this is something we could talk about. There was a little bit of confusion about the free comic book issue, because if you read that issue, and it's also free on the Marvel app,
it was weird because we thought it was Eddie the whole time.
yeah, I thought it was Eddie possessed by Carnage. Like,
A little bit of context is that on Free Comic Book Day back in earlier in April, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
May 4th.
on Free Comic Book Day, they released a Spider-Man Venom issue that included a story for Absolute Carnage. And brief synopsis is that Eddie Brock is, or apparently Eddie Brock, is ranting about how Carnage and Null are working together and everyone needs to hide and all of this. And he comes across Lee Price in prison because now Eddie Brock, so-called Eddie Brock, is in prison. And turns out, no, it was Carnage the entire time acting as Eddie Brock. And Carnage go ahead and rips out the...
he kills Lee Price!
He killed...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he killed Lee Price and ripped
Goodbye.
out the codex. So,
best Venom run ever.
yep.
He was still allowed to have a symbiote in jail, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of unclear. Like, I guess it wasn't a fully powered symbiote, and it could only be like a tattoo. Like,
Yeah. So now there was another controversy about that, and I guess this also wasn't that clear either. But Carnage, I guess I should say, Cletus Cassidy doesn't have the Carnage symbiote. He just has the Grendel symbiote. So folks are saying,
dragon symbiote, right?
right.
Yeah.
So folks are saying, well, why is he red? Why is he called Carnage if he doesn't have the Carnage symbiote? That there's some validation to that, but we've always been of the mind that the host makes the symbiote, not vice versa. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have a scene where they have a reunion. So
Yeah, so
I'm thinking there will be some Carnage in here.
So the confusion arose because of Cult of Carnage, the Web of Venom one-shot, where that Cult of Null had brought back Cletus Cassidy. The circumstances were that originally Cletus was attached to a poison from back in Venomized, and he was left in orbit after Venomized. And he eventually came back to Earth, but the poison sacrificed itself to preserve Cletus Cassidy, so the poison's burned out of Cletus Cassidy, but the Carnage symbiote was still there. And then when the cult got a hold of him, they attached the Grendel symbiote to Cletus, which essentially took over, and according to Donnie on Twitter, it completely consumed the Carnage symbiote, so the Carnage symbiote is actually dead on Cletus.
Because it's always left a trace in Cletus's blood, no matter what.
Right. So while he was in space, the Carnage symbiote rejuvenated itself, and it helped him survive the impact back to Earth, and then it was killed. So yeah.
but then I assume that because we saw him once he got the Grendel symbiote on him, he looked all like the
red. Yeah.
Well, no, because he looked all null.
Well, right, yeah,
first,
right.
Yeah, the thing is,
and then he didn't become all red and he didn't look like normal Carnage until he got the Codex from Scorn, because that was like not only that was his symbiote's kid, and so also because Tanis also had bonded to the Carnage symbiote briefly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, the majority of Carnage is with Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what I just assumed, that it let him take the form of Carnage again. It put him in his right mind from just the null infected like crazy, and he's like, "All right, I'm back." And so,
Or you can use him as like a decoy, right? Since he thinks he's Carnage already. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
See.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, so moving on down the list of these tie-ins and everything, we got also in August Miles Morales, Absolute Carnage.
Yeah.
According to that synopsis, we're gonna have Miles fighting Matt Gargan the Scorpion when Carnage makes a call on the Scorpion, because of course he has the codex of the Venom symbiote.
Right, now this has me kind of intrigued because Miles does not like symbiotes at all. And he's also going to be in the first issue of Absolute Carnage. So now I'm thinking he's going to have to get a symbiote. And like folks make fan art of like, what if he had a suit, or like what if he had a symbiote and all these things. So hopefully he'll have a symbiote, because I think that'll be very, very interesting. But I also kind of want to see him as a new Spider Carnage. I think that'd be sort of interesting, and
it wouldn't surprise me.
And sort of like a twist,
He already took the Captain Universe thing from Peter, so
yeah. So like that'll be fun to see him also fight against Mac, who's sort of scared. I'm assuming, and he has to save Mac from Carnage. That'll be interesting. And I think there's 2 of Miles. No, there's 3 of Miles. So yeah, so there's 3 issues of that Miles now. So like this is sorry, but thank God every single one of these is called Absolute Carnage. This Absolute Carnage Miles, Absolute Carnage Scream, because like back in the '90s, people were so confused on what issue to read if you want to read like the latest installment of the Maximum Carnage, but these all start with Absolute Carnage. Yeah, so if you want to go in a comic store, just say, "Hey, give me every book that just starts with Absolute Carnage," you'll be good. So thank you for doing that, I'll say.
Yeah, definitely. That really helps. And then the next one on the list is Absolute Carnage Scream, and this one ruffled a lot of feathers and got a lot of people interested.
I'm super excited to finally have Scream back, but at the same time, as we all know, it's not going to be Donna, so I guess she's completely dead. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, Eddie's apparently good at killing people, not symbiotes so much.
So the cool thing about this is that, of course, Donna is now no longer Scream, but the new host is Patricia Robertson from the Daniel Way Venom series. She was the unnamed She-Venom that was the subject of most of the series. And we haven't seen her since Daniel Way's series, and it'll be definitely interesting because the solicitations have her as being afraid of symbiotes, but somehow bonded to the Scream symbiote, and therefore trying to protect herself and the Scream symbiote from Carnage.
Cullen Bunn sure likes drawing from that series, doesn't he?
Right, yeah.
So wait, is Bunn writing it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Aaron, I think you have some thoughts you want to say about this. So.
Right, yeah, okay. So, out of the 5 Life Foundation symbiotes, Scream is the most famous. I don't think you can really name all of the hosts of Riot, Phage, and the others, but there's a chance that people know that Scream is named Donna Diego, and she even has some fame in the Spider-Man ride and in Universal Orlando. So she has some kind of call to her, but not having it.
She's also the first female symbiote.
Right, yeah. So she's sort of famous. She has a little side fan of, folks. I still see fan art of her, but just making her not Donna, don't like that, and especially because Patricia wasn't very well received, and I don't really think we had to see her again. I would much rather it have be Claire Dixon from the new Carnage series, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, see, I definitely would have preferred Donna, but then you'd have to have a whole backstory. Oh yeah, she died and now she's back to life somehow, and so I get why they don't want to use her. But so I'm going, and I'm not a big Patricia fan either because I really don't like the Venom Volume 1 by Daniel Way. But I'm going into this with an open mind because last time Bunn pulled from this, we got Mania, and I really like Mania, so I'm interested to see what he can do with it.
So maybe he will save us and put it back on Donna.
The thing is, too, I was going to say is that, well, it's... Honestly, I'm not really a big fan of Sandoval's artwork. We'll see how he does when it comes to drawing this issue. I wasn't really big on his art style, but we'll see.
Well, see, some of his faces and some of his anatomy is for me, but I do like how he draws symbiotes. I'm a big fan of how he does that. Like, I think some of his Venom, like, straight up, like, screams Todd McFarlane, and it just, I do like how he draws the symbiotes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, so Scream will be 3 issues, and it looks like on issue 2 she's already nullified, so we'll have to see where that goes. And maybe we can see her more down in the future. But I would have rather preferred she had a new design if she has a new host. But
Perhaps she will.
I don't know.
Perhaps.
Maybe there's a chance that
the long hair is pretty much the selling point for Scream.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe there's a chance we'll get her back.
But speaking of Scream, you got to move on to her siblings. And you got the rest of the Life Foundation symbiotes in the Absolute Carnage, Separation Anxiety, which is a one shot, I believe. And so this is going to be, we're getting a conclusion to. We're probably getting new hosts for all the Life Foundation symbiotes because the solicit mentions the dog they were on. Who's just wandering the Midwest or whatever after Deadpool versus Carnage. So,
right. Yeah, I think they'll just get unnamed hosts because no one really cares about those 4. Besides the fact that they look cool, but I'm thinking they'll just get unnamed hosts. But at the end of it, I would really like them to be hybrid again and to find Scott Washington. I think there's a lot of cool things you could do. If
Don is dead, I don't think Scott's coming back. But
yeah, unfortunately,
he didn't have a brother.
I don't think he had a brother who died, and that's why he became a hybrid. Yeah. But
I think I'm in the same boat. Personally, I think it'd be cool to stay on the dog and like actually get name the dog and give him like reoccurring appearances.
New Pet Avengers. Start a new Pet Avengers.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes because we're gonna obviously get first appearances of new host characters for sure.
I don't think no one's gonna care about. So.
It's hard to get someone to care about 4 new characters, especially in the middle of an event.
Yeah.
But
they just gotta push it out.
Oh, and then speaking of Deadpool versus Carnage, we're getting a follow-up to that in Absolute Carnage, Carnage versus Deadpool.
Part 2.
The Carnaging or something.
Now, I'm personally not a fan, of course, of Deadpool mixing with symbiotes. I did like the original Deadpool versus Carnage, but after that it's like people, I'm not gonna name who, keeps on trying to shoehorn Deadpool into symbiotes.
Let's not forget Black and Black. Yeah. Remember?
Black and Black, the original host.
I will say that I have enjoyed Deadpool with symbiotes in the past. In Cable and Deadpool number 49 and number 50, the last 2 issues of the series, Deadpool had to fight a bunch of symbiote dinosaurs. Then he got a symbiote on himself. It was Cable and Deadpool number 50 is like one of my favorite single issues of all time. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, Deadpool dealing with symbiotes. It's just the fact that, and like I said, I also enjoyed Deadpool versus Carnage and him with the dog and everything, and the Life Foundation symbiotes. It's just I don't like him like retconning himself into the trying to retcon himself into the history of the symbiote. Like, oh, Deadpool made it crazy. No, so it's an alternate reality. That's what I'm saying. Those are not canon books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this issue, it looks like he's checking himself into Ravencroft, and he's going to have to fight a whole bunch of Carnage people. Now, in this one, I kind of hope that he fights Shriek, and she has some payback for that. So that might be interesting, seeing who he fights.
Do you think he's going to run into the Lethal Protector team going into Ravencroft?
He might, because aren't they both going to the same place?
Yeah, exactly.
You got Cloak and Dagger, Iron Fist, and Morbius all running in there at the same time.
Yeah, who knows?
Now there's one thing I wanted to bring up, because wasn't it mentioned? Didn't Donnie and Ryan mention that we're going to get a brand new symbiote appearance?
Did they say that?
Well, I know they said they're gonna that one symbiote is gonna get a new host, but I kind of assumed that was gonna be Scream. But
I thought we were it's gonna probably be hopefully Dylan. Wink, wink.
Okay, yeah. So let's move on to 17, because the cover for 17 has all of the symbiotes except for Riot fighting Venom. So, and we do see Toxin in there. So there's something going on with Toxin, but Toxin's not getting
apparently on the cover,
or like one's a Carnage,
Or maybe it's a miscolor. They screwed it up by accident.
Yeah.
Riot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting to me that there's no Toxin one, because you'd think that he's also one of the more popular ones, that Toxin doesn't have his own, which maybe means someone else is going to get him. Maybe Dylan.
Do you think it's comic book clickbait? Do you think it's just a cover? Do you think they're actually like Toxin and Sleeper are actually going to be in it? I would love it if they are, but
I'm pretty sure Sleeper is, because I believe editor Devin Lewis said that Sleeper is going to have a wild introduction to the family. So I think he is, and I really hope they don't do anything mean to Sleeper, because I know fans, and me included, love Sleeper.
He's our little avocado.
He's a little avocado bean boy, apparently. Yes, but please don't harm Sleeper. Let him just be okay.
I'm really interested to see what interaction he's going to have with Carnage.
Yes, and it'd be very interesting, because
I'm just that guy saying, bring Pat back.
Yeah,
you can bring him back easy. Yes. Bring back Toxin. Bring back Pat.
Hashtag where's Donna? Hashtag where's Scott? Hashtag where's Pat? Let's do it.
Well, we know where Donna is. I mean, Eddie pretty much
in limbo. Her. Well, I mean, she had the symbiote. She could have healed. If the symbiote's okay, she has to be okay. That. I'm just sticking to that. If the symbiote's okay, she's okay.
The other thing I was going to bring up is that it kind of sucks that Absolute Carnage is going to be only 4 issues. I was hoping it was going to be at least 6.
Oh, but do you see all these books though?
Yeah, I know.
Plus, I feel like
the first issue is freaking almost double the length. So it's technically 5 issues.
Like 5.
Hey,
I feel like Venom and ASM are probably good, because they're the only 2 books that are tying into this, aren't they? That actually have like they're interrupting their main stories for an Absolute Carnage tie-in.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Is there?
So I feel like they're going to be.
Is there an Amazing Spider-Man book? I don't think there's an Amazing Spider-Man book.
In September and October.
Oh, is there? Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Oh, right. I see it.
So I feel like those are going to be also very important chapters in it, not counting the tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, guys. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'll gladly pay the $8 for issue 1, because I've seen a lot of people complain about it, but it's like it is a very thick book, so paying the $8 is not a problem for me. So
heck, I'm buying all of this, everything.
Right, but also like all of the variants are going to be insane too. Like
if you're buying every variant, you're a crazy person. Like you, I know you're.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was going to bring that up.
$100.
Yeah, but yeah, going down the list now, we also have another one shot. We have Absolute Carnage Avengers #1.
And I just noticed that was a thing, because I didn't notice that was a thing.
I didn't either. I didn't even
notice that was a thing. Yeah.
So we don't know much about it, because obviously we only have the solicits for August. So right now we just have titles going for these next few. But so there's
actually perhaps
this is the current Jason Aaron run of the Avengers, or like the current team.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm trying to. Is there anyone on? I mean, we have Captain America who's had a symbiote from Absolute Carnage,
Wolverine thing, because
and even back
Hawkeye.
And the Thing, yeah.
Now,
in the
Yeah, like-
original kind of symbiotes, he had a symbiote.
now,
But,
I'm pretty
how
sure it's
about-
like
how about
every
this
single
wild-
person has that one now. So
How about this wild idea? Maybe it's not the Avengers we know, but maybe it's the Savage Avengers.
No, I don't think so.
Savage.
No,
I
that's,
think
that's
they're
a separate thing.
that'd be cool, but yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I do think it's going to be the current iteration of the Avengers, and so that means of the people who are on the team, I don't think a lot of the current Avengers team has had symbiotes. I think there's Captain America, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and like I don't think Thor, Iron Man,
Thor and
right
Iron
now,
Man
I
have
don't think he has.
not.
Yeah, because didn't Captain Marvel bond with Venom in the Siege storyline?
Yeah, well, she was Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
Miss Marvel.
there's some that sorry, there's some that also were in Venom Bomb, but I think those are more like side Avengers. I mean, there was Wonder Man, Black Widow, Spider-Woman, but yeah.
Yeah, because Wasp became the giant symbiote, and I think she is one of the agents of Wakanda, which seems to be like an Avengers sub team. Because Man-Wolf is also on that. Like, he's sort of like a side Avenger with her, and like some people that Black Panther has hired. And yeah, Black Panther's on the team too, and he doesn't have he's never had a symbiote as far as I know.
Yeah. So
Well, he's gonna be fighting in space or something right now, but
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, because I never noticed that one before. So yeah, that might be that's something to look forward to.
One of the interesting tie-ins that we'll be getting in September is the Absolute Carnage Symbiote Spider-Man tie-in, because
yes,
that one is interesting.
Yeah, the Symbiote Spider-Man series takes place back in the past when Peter Parker still had the symbiote. So how are they going to tie that in?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a tie-in to that series specifically. I think they're just marketing it based on the name. I feel like Spider-Man might get a symbiote temporarily during this event, like in Venomized.
Right.
But
Yeah,
if it is during the past, my best guess is that it's like, you know how the symbiote like went out at night and took his body. Maybe one night it took his body and then suddenly it got all nullified for one night or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So I was sort of thinking it was based in that series, and I don't think that series is going to be over until August or September, I think. But if it's not in the right, but it could also be Miles Morales being a symbiote Spider-Man, but his Spider-Man tie-in isn't over till October. So I don't know that one's also kind of interesting. I don't know. Let's see.
Yep.
And, everything's just number 2 for that month. Other than that, it's just like you got Lethal Protectors number 2, Miles Morales number 2, Scream number 2, Carnage vs. Deadpool number 2, and then you have the 2 more tie-ins, which is Amazing Spider-Man ties in number 30, and then you have Venom number 18. So, and this is pretty big for Spider-Man because so far Nick Spencer's Spider-Man has totally been on its own. Like any other events, like Spider-Geddon or anything, it's totally ignored, and those are just been its own things. And so this is going to be the first thing that Nick Spencer, if Nick Spencer is still writing it, that he's going to tie directly into this big Carnage event. So right. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I'm absolutely loving Nick Spencer's run. So I'm really excited. I really hope Ryan Ottley's drawing the series because we got that big splash page in the Free Comic Book Day issue of like all there was like nullified Carnage, and then there's Carnage and Venom, and I would love to see Ryan Ottley do a full symbiote issue.
That was so good, that splash page.
Yeah. And then, so in October, we of course get the number 3s and number 4s and all of that, but we also get another tie-in, Absolute Carnage Ghost Rider, Symbiote of Vengeance.
And was that confirmed that was going to be Robbie? I think it was Robbie, wasn't it?
Is it confirmed? We don't have a solicitor or anything.
I think so. Well, I mean, it has to be Robbie, right? Because I don't know what Johnny. No, not. Like, what's the original Ghost Rider? I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Johnny
what's
Blaze.
his name? Right. Yeah, because he's not doing anything now. Is he? Like, is he dead?
He's King of Hell right now.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah. Now, yes. I mean, I don't know what to think about that one.
And
But
Johnny's probably got the most experience with symbiotes, right? Because not only was
right,
back in the '90s, he had a few bump-ins with it might have been Danny, not totally sure, can't remember.
I think it
Back in
was
the
Danny. I think it was
okay,
I
but
think it was
then
Danny.
you still have
Yeah.
was on the Ross's Thunderbolts team with him, and then also the whole
Yeah.
Circle of Four.
Circle 4. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Now, I'm very interested about the Hulk one. The next one is Immortal Hulk.
They're doing one for Hulk as well.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That one's going to be good because
one-
that book has been, well, actually I don't know if it's going to be the same writer.
We don't know if
the same
it's
artist,
Ewing.
but like
Ewing is an
so we don't know
incredibly
anything. We don't know anything.
fantastic writer. He's been doing
Yes.
I think anyone who's here is like Immortal Hulk is a fantastic book.
Yes, it is.
Like it's like I'm not even a big Hulk fan, but Immortal Hulk is just. I mean, I'm not actually buying it, but from things I've seen, it looks absolutely incredible and just such a respectful, to all continuity and everything, and just Ewing's great with that. So
yeah. So
one of our commenters are again and saying Immortal made a Hulk fan out of him. So
oh yeah. Yeah, my father is a huge Hulk fan, so like I know all of the things that's happening. If I have to hear about all of these other Hulks now, I hope it's the same team because they do a lot of weird and interesting body horror in that, and that would be really fun with like if like Hulk has like a symbiote or something, just like all of the body horror and like all of the mind games that could happen between like the Hulk and his minds and versus a symbiote and like fighting Null off. That'd be very interesting, I think.
That's another thing to note because Hulk is another guy who's never had a symbiote. Like he's other than like what ifs and stuff.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well,
like Red Hulk has, but
had
not the
one,
main.
but yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, August is going to be a really expensive month.
All these months are with all the amount of variants, and we haven't even started to see some variants. Like what? We know they're going to do a Cult of Carnage variant. One of them has Shriek, so I'm expecting one that has Doppelganger and like all these other people. But I don't.
We should talk about that Venom number 17 alternate cover of Scream.
Or yeah, Shriek. Yeah.
Shriek. Yeah, Shriek. Oh wow.
Yeah, it looks very good. Looks very good. Let me just see if I can find what variants they're making.
Well, there is going to be that rare, unused Amazing Spider-Man 361 cover that Bagley never got to use.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. The Scream miniseries is going to have a 3 connecting page by Mark Bagley that has all the 5 that has all the 5 life foundations like on a wall perched up. That'll be cool.
This is going to be absolute carnage on our wallets. That's what this is.
Yeah. Our wallets are in danger.
It's an aptly named event.
Yeah. So for the first issue, I see there is going to be a connecting variant cover by We Don't Know. So I'm guessing the 4 issues of that main series is going to have a variant. We're also going to get Codex variant. Right, yeah. We're also going to get Codex variants. Now, I think Eddie Granoff did one of the Codex variants, and when he sent it on his Instagram, he said, "What's a Codex variant?" And I said, "I don't know either." But he has that is just a Venom. So I don't know if the Codex variant means it's going to be different Venoms throughout the years, but that's what it kind of seems like. And we're also going to get another action figure variant on the first issue. So
Sweet.
yeah, so it maybe a Carnage. We've gotten three different types of Venoms for those, and this may be the first Carnage one we get, which might be fun.
But I gotta ask though, out of all the, not counting the main series or Venom or ASM, what tie-in or one-shot are you guys looking forward to the most?
Well, for me, easily it'll be Scream.
Yeah, Scream for me, because I mean I like all these other books, but really intrigued on what's happening with Patricia if Donna is still alive and where that character's
You're
going to
really
end up
holding
at
up
the
for
end.
that.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
I won't hold. Wait, we haven't talked about Funeral Pyre.
Well, I was gonna bring that up. Please, Bun, don't kill her. Please don't kill her. Please don't
He's
kill
not
her.
going to. I've seen so many people think, oh yeah, Bun's going to kill Andy. No way he's killing Andy. I'm calling it now. She's surviving. She'll be fine.
yeah.
She'll be
There's
fine.
no
She
way
will. Yeah,
he's been
I'm
trying
like
to push her for
90%
so
sure
long.
she. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's gonna fight Carnage and she's gonna take back the symbiote from him and she's
I
gonna be
hope so.
Mania again.
I hope
And
so.
then she'll go back and do nothing.
Don't say that. Don't say
You know, she's not gonna do it. She's not.
it. This is going to launch
She'll
her
just
Web of
exist.
Venom issue will sell 1 million copies.
1 million copies,
Well,
just like
Here's,
Essence Carnage
here's
number
my
one.
hope for Andy is that after all of this is said and done, after Absolute Carnage is done, that Eddie Brock and Dylan and Andy all survive. They become kind of like a family, and they go on being symbiotes. And all that. Oh, that'd be nice.
This book is called
Watch.
Venom.
That is Aaron,
not going to happen.
Watch. Absolute Carnage Flash is coming back, and you're gonna hate it.
Oh yeah,
I think it's too soon. It's going to be less than 2 years, and I don't think they're going to do that. As much as I want it, I don't think. Like, we might get some sort of codex moment with Flash. Like, maybe Carnage does find his body and dig it up or something. Because because they don't seem to be going after every single codex for every single symbiote, like from Venomized and Planet of the Symbiotes and Venom Bomb. They seem to be focusing on the Venom family tree. So, which makes more sense.
Right.
I will say,
Flash was also used up in that one issue.
except they didn't say it was used up because that was just a sample from another time. So they wanted the current one that was in his body. That's why Maker was trying to find his body.
Whatever makes you sleep at night.
That was the whole point. He wanted the one because that was before. That was the Maker wanted the one that he had after he had been to the Planet of the Symbiotes because he wanted the one that was connected to the Hive.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't actually say my fear. I think, like you guys, I am interested to see what they do with Scream, so that's probably what I'm most looking forward to. But I am really interested to see what they do with separation anxiety. I want to see that dog again.
Yeah,
so. We'll see where it goes.
And, yeah,
we also have well, guys. In July we have San Diego Comic-Con, so we might get some more announcements. Wink, wink.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll definitely see some covers, I think, in there, at least.
Right. Now, I think one of the things that I'm worried about is what's going to happen with free previews. We see that they're both on the run, and if Eddie is about to be swarmed by all these symbiotes by Carnage and Null, like the Dylan, then like as I've said, as a character, if he has to lug his there, so very curious to see what's going to happen with Dylan. Hopefully he doesn't die. Maybe he just gets a foster home or something.
I'd be interested if maybe Eddie tries to get Spider-Man to protect him, either Peter or Miles. Maybe he's like, look, I know I've got a bad history with you, but this kid's important to me, and I need you to help get him safety. And maybe he gives it to Miles because, as far as he knows, Miles has never had a symbiote.
Right. And then fails, and then now Venom just hates Miles Spider-Man just like he did at the start.
No.
All over again. Yeah. So, what's the point? Are we going to see Anne? Because I think Carnage is going to get Anne's codex from her grave and kind of use it to taunt Eddie and Dylan, maybe?
No,
you know what?
I think it's a possibility.
I stated in a previous episode my theory about Anne is still alive. You know, the symbiote played a lot of mind games with both Eddie and Anne. So I think she's still alive out there, and Eddie's going to end up having to save her from Carnage.
You know, that's actually a good point you bring up, though, because Venom 17, has all of Venom's, all his kids on the cover and whatnot, and so maybe Venom 18 has, angry-looking she-Venom on it, like fighting Eddie.
Yeah, and she swoops and says, "Look, I can fight dirty too."
They're gonna probably go
Movie
like, "Oh
reference.
yeah, the symbiote tricked Eddie when she quote unquote committed suicide, but she didn't." And
But
then
why didn't you
Lola-
just tell him that before you left instead of just making it worse?
Who
But
knows?
who knows? We will find out eventually.
So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
There's even a comic box coming out that'll have
And
the first issue on the front and some classic art on the back.
around the same time, we got rumored Agent Anti-Venom figure for the 80th anniversary. So I'm very stoked for that. It's currently a rumor, but we'll see around San Diego Comic-Con, I'm sure.
Could be cool. Could be cool.
You're gonna buy it. Don't lie.
Well,
I mean,
absolutely.
I will, but
I'm talking about, I don't know if it's real yet. I'm hoping it's real.
Yeah, I got every other Marvel Legends already put up here. Yeah,
There's also,
just have a repainted Agent Venom figure.
Yeah, there's also that the Marvel Classics Venom that was rumored.
Marvel Classics Venom. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Marvel Legends Marvel Classics.
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
didn't hear about this.
What you mean for like the retro wave?
Yeah, the retro wave.
I don't think I've heard about that either.
I've not heard about that either.
I saw someone posted on our Discord. I thought it was one of you guys posted.
Was it a rumor or was it confirmed?
Well, it's just like one of those lists that you
Well,
found.
no, I think that was the Agent Anti-Venom. That was what has been now clarified as that, I think.
Really?
Okay.
For the 80th anniversary ones. Yeah, because at first it just said Venom variant, and then a later one actually said Agent Anti-Venom.
Okay.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to getting my Mayfix Venom. I can't wait to get that.
Yeah, so very much looking forward to Absolute Carnage. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I can say we're more excited for this than Venomized or any of the others that were going on.
It's a lot of good.
I am kind of worried. Yeah, right. But I also am kind of worried that is only about 5 issues because with Venomized and I felt like they were way too short, and I'm just kind of crammed. Want to know what happens here? Go read this issue instead of just being, mini series. But I don't know.
All right. Well, I think that's a good point to put a pin on today's episode. So, if you'd like to participate in a live audience for the future, join our Discord and follow the link below to join. Check out the podcast chat channel for details about about our next recording date. We will make announcements on Discord, on Twitter, Reddit, and the website for upcoming recordings. And I swear we will be a lot better about that. We have not been very diligent about making the announcement. But as always, thank you to my fellow hosts, Carlos, Tyler, and Aaron, for joining me today. And thanks to the Venom site for permitting us to make this podcast under the TVS banner, and all of your generous support. And then finally, thank you, loyal listeners and fellow Venomaniacs. You guys make an awesome community, and it's an honor to be your voice on the airwaves. Together, we are Venomaniacs.